Okay, hi. My name is Emily McCrossan. I'm the Associate Director in the Study Abroad Office, and I am joined today by Professor Wes Kennison, who is here to talk about the Italy PostHUMNplus program taking place hopefully this winter intersession in Italy. So I'll go ahead and give you the floor, Wes, and I'm here to talk about applications and the cost sheet when you're ready.
Okay, so this is guys, just lay down some basic stuff about what the course is. This is a experimental course that we tried last year and ended up being a very successful experiment. And it's called PostHUMNplus. And the idea is it's for people who have already taken Genesios Humanities course, either Hum 1 or Hum 2, doesn't matter, or both. And basically what we do is we set a goal to go to Italy. And once we get the team put together, people apply. Once we get the team put together, then we start with a discussion that focuses on what were the books that you read in Hum that most spoke to you, that made the most sense to you, that filled you with lots of inquisitive passion to continue learning about them. And then based upon the books that you all propose, then I put together an itinerary that gets at the questions that you want to get at. And so it's all of the writing for the course is reflective writing. There's no academic paper to it. The idea is to take your humanities experience and really sink it in with an experience abroad, starting with the knowledge that you've gained in Hum, and then pursuing those questions on site. We meet together in kind of a seminar format where basically people are reporting in what they're experiencing. And of course, when the itinerary is established, that means that we're jumping in to do some museums, archaeological sites, festival stuff if that's available. And because we are full service in the study abroad office, we like to kind of do a number of other things. I like to, one of the reasons I like to go to Tuscany is that I have a lot of resources there to leverage. But I'd like us to do a cooking school where we learn a little bit about what goes into the very local cuisine. We'd like to sort of set up some cultural events and meet locals and talk about that kind of stuff as well, integrating it into the texts. So specifically what we do is largely driven by you folks. We run for just a natural short period in the intersession. Italy is a little chilly at that point, but the upside of it is when there's not, in the height of tourist season, the lines are short, the meals are cheap, and it's very easy to easy and inexpensive to do the things that we need to do. So that's basic description of the course. Emily, why don't you do logistical stuff, and then we can open it up to questions.
Yeah, so let me show you the program page for this program. So Wes, correct me if I'm wrong. Their students are centered in Siena, Italy. Do you want to kind of describe a little bit about the city, the history, and why you chose to have this program in Siena?
Yeah, okay, because so what we do is we will set up this specific itinerary based upon the discussion that we all have next fall as we get closer into the process here. But Siena is it's located in Tuscany. Tuscany is in sort of north central Italy. Siena is it's about 46 kilometers from Florence. So Florence, there's like 16 buses a day going in and out of Florence. Takes about an hour to get into Florence from Siena. Pretty easy to go back and forth there. But Siena is a place where Geneseo has had an organic relationship going back some 40 years. And it's a place where if you're from Geneseo, you get to kind of move around like you're a local. And it's a place where you immediately get past the sort of barriers that a place like Italy has in terms of tourism infrastructure that kind of creates a sort of phony, easy to sell version of Italy. We're not interested in that version of Italy. We're interested in the real thing, which is much better. And so Siena gives us a good, solid, safe, central, cheap place to be that also allows you to be sort of more independent and move around. It's an extraordinarily safe place with a huge amount of resources within very short walking distance. And also is able to give us a little bit of the very important relationship between city and countryside. We'll get out into the more rural parts, and we have a lot of resources there that able give me a lot of versatility in how we teach this particular course. We also then, as far as safety and security, we have tremendous connections through our partners on site, Siena Italian Studies, which is a place where students can go and spend a semester. And they help us out with things like medical concerns and other sorts of things that may turn up that otherwise might be bigger problems than that. So we're gonna be centered there, but we'll be ranging out to take trips using Siena as kind of a hub.
And one of the trips you're looking at, well, two of the trips you're talking about is Florence and Rome, correct?
Yes.
Yep, a day trip, not like an overnight trip, but a day trip to Florence, a day trip to Rome.
Yeah, we can very inexpensively do either one of them. And of course, there's also, especially with Florence, because it's so close, you can go for half a day to Florence and have a good time. It's an opportunity for people to kind of range out on their own once you get your travel sea legs under you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But certainly, no matter what we come up with an itinerary, it's going to involve a trip to Rome and at least one, if not two, trips to Florence.
Yeah, and it's just to kind of go off of what Wes was saying about Siena. It is such a walkable, easy to get around city. It's not a very big city. At least it doesn't feel very big. So you can easily get, from place to place and just really feel at home, I think, in Siena. So this is a 2-credit course, and the program dates are January 2nd through January 20th, 2022. And the cost sheet can be found on our webpage. So going back to this website, this is what we call Horizons. This is where all of our programs are listed. You can get to this page by going to our website and clicking on search programs, and this will take you to this page, and you can find this program. Like I said, the cost sheet is to be found here, and this is a really affordable program in Italy. Like Wes said, being able to go in January, being able, limiting it to 2 weeks certainly makes it a little bit more affordable than some of our other Europe programs. And so all of our programs have a $20 application charge. This is something that you pay when you apply. And then there's the study abroad deposit and administrative fee, which is $250 that you would pay after you're accepted. Other estimated costs is the cost for tuition for the 2 credits, the college fee, and then the program differential. And the program differential for this program includes your accommodations in Siena, 3 group meals, all program excursions, including Florence, Pisa, and Rome, transportation to and from the Pisa airport. So we'd have you fly in and out of the Pisa airport, and then you would travel by bus into the city as a group. Scheduled program activities, $100 deposit for the group flight, faculty expenses, and the international health insurance. So the cost for this program between tuition and the program differential is $3,123.40. And then the other estimated things that you need to account for includes a group international flight. So we would organize a group flight for everyone, and you would just have to pay this a little bit before you're, a couple months before you depart for the program. This is just an estimate. Individual domestic travel to the airport. So generally students will fly out of New York City. So any kind of transportation costs to get to New York City. But if you already live there, if you're already going to be done that way over the winter break, then obviously you wouldn't be paying this much. Passport, if you don't already have one. Pre-departure expenses, including luggage, clothing, medications. This is just an estimate. You certainly could spend less if you don't need luggage or that sort of thing. And then personal expenses, including probably most of your meals. You'll be eating out at restaurants. So you're looking at about maybe $250 a week. So maybe about $500. So all in, you're looking at about $5,468.40. Financial aid isn't specifically available for winter intersession, but certainly if you, for any reason, use financial aid and get a refund for the fall semester, you can apply your refund towards your study abroad program. The other thing that is available is you could apply for a scholarship. We do have a winter intersession specific study abroad scholarship through our office that you could look into here and apply for. So that's $4,000. You would apply for this after you are accepted, and it is based on financial need. The application deadline is October 1st. So the application is open now. You can get your application started, but you would have plenty of time to work on the application. And it's a pretty straightforward and easy application. Really, you just have to, work on your personal. There's a little essay that you have to write expressing why you want to participate in this program. There's no prereqs. You just need to be in good academic standing with no major judicial infractions. And trying to think if I'm missing anything else related to the logistics. Am I missing anything, Wes?
I don't think so.
So that's the logistical side in a nutshell. Oh, I know what I wanted to bring up. I wanted to talk about COVID real quick. Not that we want to talk about COVID-19, but I just want to point out we do have a resource page. We are hopeful that we will be able to resume study abroad for normal with the vaccine rollout going on across the world, including in Italy. So we will be, this is something we'll be closely watching and monitoring. We likely won't be making any decision about, any winter intersession programs till about August at the earliest. So there's a lot of time for things to change and improve, and even we might be waiting longer than August 1st. But I just want to put that out there. But it seems very likely that a vaccine will be required for study abroad by SUNY, if not also more than likely by Italy. So if you have the opportunity to get a vaccine, I would strongly recommend it as that kind of is our ticket to be able to restart international travel and to do so safely. So that's something that I just wanted to share with you as well. Wes, anything else you want to talk about before we go into questions?
No, I'd love to. I think whatever we need to talk about, it will come up in questions.
Okay, so the floor is open. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. Has anyone been to Italy before? No.
I haven't.
Yeah? Have you been
No,
to,
I haven't.
haven't, okay.
I haven't. I've always wanted to, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Why have you always wanted to, Vanshik?
So I took Italian for about 5 years.
Vero.
When like throughout, middle school, high school. And I
Okay.
was always really fascinated about the culture. And then I actually, when I took humanities in my first semester freshman year, I was really, really excited about the different aspects of the culture that I felt like I was learning. I took it with
Mhm.
Professor Bennett.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, I've just always been fascinated by Europe in general, but specifically Italy, because I feel like I've learned so much about that culture without being able to fully experience it.
That's great.
Very good. One of the interesting things about going to Siena, if you like to practice your school Italian, is that when Italy became a country in 1861, we were fighting a civil war at the time, so we didn't notice it. When Italy became a country, they had to sort of figure out from all the different regions of Italy with the very diverse dialects, which one of the dialects would become standard Italian. So if you're taking Italian 101, which one of the dialects would it be? And they finally decided on Tuscan, which means that the dialect you speak in the streets in Florence and Siena is really that's the model for standard Italian. And so it's a really good place to go if you've had school Italian and you want to get up to speed on it. The other thing I like to do with the students on this trip is to build in some language instruction along the way to help people get it soaked in. So and you'll also come in contact with and become familiar with a whole bunch of different things that resources, sort of long-term resources, if you will, that could help you improve your Italian over the course of time. Unfortunately, Geneseo doesn't offer any Italian instruction, but for students that really would like to continue with it, this would be a really good, even though it's just a 2-week thing, it'll be a great opportunity to avail yourself of all those resources, for sure.
Thank you.
Good. What's motivating other people to be interested in possibly this? I'd like to hear from everybody.
I guess I can go.
Okay, Sophie.
I've only been to Canada before, so that's like the farthest I've gone. And I don't really have any experience in Italian or anything, but I did take humanities with you. And I found the readings to be interesting, like all of them, but
Yeah.
like Dante stuff, it's just one I can think of on the top of my head. But I think it'd be interesting to study in a new space and see new things that I don't know if I do on my own out of college. I feel like this is a space I could do that. So I just thought I'd check in and see, learn more about it, I guess.
Well, that's great. We'll be in Dante's backyard, so there's a lot. We'll be walking right straight through buildings that he walked through and stuff like that. The other thing I think that there's a real important thing I think in what you're saying, Sophie, is that a goal of all of our study abroad programs is that people become savvy travelers. Okay, that is to say, it's not just teaching the academic content that we're interested in, but also the opportunity to just learn logistically how to travel in a way that's smart and fulfilling and cheap and sensible. And so everybody kind of gets clued into that. It's amazing how quickly people gain a lot of confidence in their ability to go take these kind of trips in the future after a study abroad. So I'm glad you made that point, because it really is it's a very important thing for us in the office. Other folks? Anybody else have any other questions?
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've never had to get my passport since I've only been to Canada. I got my enhanced license. I didn't know about like how long that was and if it was complicated to get the process started.
To get your passport. Emily, can you take that?
Yeah. The passport is standard, normally 4 to 6 weeks. But under COVID times, the Department of State has extended that timeline, suggesting a little bit longer of a window. You want to give yourself maybe a couple months at least to get your visa, passport. And so you just go to the post office if you've never had, a passport before, and there's an application process online, and we can guide you through it. But it's pretty straightforward, and you would just, like I said, probably want to do it around the time, around the application deadline, somewhere in September, October, and submit your visa or your passport. Or you maybe, if it's easier for you, to do it before you come back for the fall. But it's pretty straightforward. It's usually about $135. There's a form you have to complete. You have to provide a couple copies of certain documents. Good question.
Other
It's 6 to
questions?
10 years. So I always think it's an excellent investment.
Oh, everybody should have a passport. Yeah, it is. Everybody needs to have a passport. There are some colleges now that are requiring that freshmen, when they come up there for their freshman year, have a passport already, because they expect that their job is to encourage people to become good global citizens. And first step towards being a good global citizen is having a passport. But I mean, you essentially need to go to Canada now. So
Yeah.
it's the best ID you can possibly have.
You don't need any visa or anything for, the 2 weeks. It's pretty easy.
Yep.
But like I said, we're going to be paying attention if there's any requirements related to the vaccine, or like a vaccine passport or whatnot. At this time, there's not, but right now, also you have to quarantine, and hopefully we won't have to do that. Well, I dropped my email in the chat, so if you have any questions, you can certainly get in touch with me or with Wes. I know Wes.
Yeah, feel free to get a hold of me.
Kennison@geneseo.edu. So.
And if you get an application started, then we'll start communicating with you directly about that as things develop and change and stuff like that. So getting an application up and going is a good thing, because it puts you on a list. Mm-hmm. And if by chance we get too many people, one of the criteria we'll look at is the order in which people applied.
I have a quick question. How many people from Geneseo are allowed to go to this trip?
Yeah, so normally on a standard faculty-led program, we have probably about 12 to 20 students. So it'll probably be somewhere in there.
Yep, that's what we'd be hoping for.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have one last question.
Okay.
And it might be too early to determine, but if something happened and let's say people have already applied, it's maybe November or December, and there's a new strain of COVID, which I hope, it doesn't blow up again, but if something happened and it got worse, even if maybe travel was open, but it was kind of, not recommended, maybe would we be able to withdraw, or I don't know if you know the answer to that right now, but.
Yeah, so if Geneseo were to cancel the program, and like I said, we'll have a pretty good idea by the time you're having to make that commitment decision in October. We'll have a pretty good idea of where things stand. And then you can make hopefully an informed decision, because we're not going to make you make that decision until we have a better sense of where things are at. But let's say, like I said, Geneseo decides to cancel the program, we will be able to refund you for anything that you paid Geneseo. We're not going to have you book your airfare or anything like that until we have a good sense of where things are at. Because that's something you pay directly to a travel agent. I can tell you in the past, the travel agent has been very helpful in trying to refund our students as much as possible with the spring 2020. We had some spring break programs that were set to go, and those students were able to get refunded, but there's no guarantee. But we're gonna do our best to protect you guys as much as possible. As should you make a commitment to go and you withdraw and we don't cancel, then we would be able to recoup any recoverable costs for you. But if there's things that we already paid for, and let's say that this is true, even let's say you you get sick before you go, or you decide not to go at the last minute, we would always recoup whatever we could for you. But if there's things that we already paid on your behalf, then certainly we wouldn't be able to refund that. But
Okay, thank you.
yeah, I know it's tough, but the nice thing is you don't have to submit, and you can get your application in, and should Geneseo cancel the program, we will refund you that application charge, and you won't be required to commit anything till October. So you can certainly apply, knowing that if things look bad and we have to cancel that you would get that $20 back.
What do the program's accommodations look like in terms of where we'd be staying? And follow-up question to that, I know that we talked about like day excursions. I'm not very familiar with geography of the area, but I do know that a lot of European countries are close to each other. Like, will there be excursions out of that country as well, or would it just everything stay in Italy?
Yeah, one thing we discourage people from doing is what my Italian friends jokingly call a vacanza americana. Okay, the vacanza americana is I'm going to try to do 27 countries in 10 days and check all of my boxes and like that. We're going to be pretty much staying in one place. That provides safety, security, but it also keeps the cost of things down. The other thing is that one of the things that you want to do is you want to think about places that you might want to go in and around there, because there's the wonderful thing about Europe is that they actually have public transportation that's extensive and easy to use and like that. So once again, when we get down to sort of discussing what the itinerary is going to look like, if there's particular places that people are really interested in going that are within our orbit, we will certainly do that. Okay, but it's sort of like if the tables were turned and somebody says, oh, I'm going to come and visit New York City, and while I'm here, maybe I'll take a day trip to Chicago. Well, we would like, what? You can do that. But that's the kind of, those are the kind of the way the distances might work going from one place to another. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for all joining us, and I hope this was useful. Hope this is getting everyone excited. I know I can't wait to travel internationally again. I got the travel bug. If you guys need anything, feel free to reach out. But thank you for joining us, and Wes and I will stick around if anybody has any lingering questions.
Thank you.
That was a good start.
Hold on.
Oh, yes, got somebody.